Hey guys, welcome to my Horrific Visions guide for the Mage Quarter in Stormwind. The Mage Quarter mobs aren't extremely difficult by themselves, but when paired with either Leadenfoot or split personality affixes, it can become one of the harder zones that you're going to face in either Stormwind or Orgrimmar. One of the best tips that I can give for this zone is to find an efficient route. What I like to do is to mount up in the beginning of the zone and turn right. I run past the tumors and pull the crawling corruptions and the burrowing appendages. The corruptions will be patrolling around this whole zone, so you can expect 2 to 3 of them here in the beginning. And if they are able to get off their creepy crawler cast, you can pop a defensive because that will help mitigate some of that physical damage they do. The appendages do exactly what they do in every other zone, where they can keep you in combat by burrowing underground, so make sure you focus them down first if you can. Your overall objective of the Mage Quarter is to kill all the portal masters and close their rifts. If you look on your minimap, you'll be able to see all the yellow dots. These represent all the rifts that you need to close in the zone, and with each rift you will find one portal master and then some of his cronies that will make some of these pulls a little bit challenging. After I kill this first portal master, I turn around and head to this big open space where we're going to kill our first mini-boss, the Boundless Corruption. There are too many bosses in this zone, and since this is often the last zone that you're going to do in the vision, it can be helpful to space them out, because they both will reward you with 200 sanity if you have spec'd into Elite Extermination. I personally have found that the hardest part about this zone is the sanity loss, so just being able to space that out kind of helps make your run a little bit more efficient. As you can see, these patrolling corruptions are pretty much everywhere, and it's pretty annoying and even troublesome if you're trying to use a sanity orb. So make sure you keep an eye on your sanity levels and try and get out of combat as quick as you can if you need to. This is the first mini-boss called the Boundless Corruption, and he has 2 main abilities. The first are these swirls that you see spawning continually at my feet. These do drain sanity, so it's important to just move out of them. And then the second is Chaos Breath, which is a frontal cone attack. It's a 2-second cast time, so it's pretty easy to dodge. But if you get stuck in it, it does 30 sanity every 0.8 seconds. So you want to make sure that you can avoid getting CC'd or that you're in a good position whenever this is being cast. I will say that this boss can be particularly difficult with Leadenfoot because of the swirls that he spawns. The only way that I've found to make it a little bit easier is to try and just stutter step and make very small movements and then pop cooldowns and finish them quickly. This next pack that you see me pull here is one of the trickier packs to deal with in the Mage Quarter. I do a bad job of focusing targets, as you can see, but ideally you want to focus down the followed Voidspeaker in the back. He will slow you with Mind Flay, as well as fear you with Psychic Scream. In addition to that, keep an eye on the Greater Void Elemental because he will be casting Void Buffet, which is a dot that increases the shadow damage you take, all while the Portal Master Mind Flays you in the background. If you have cooldowns, use them. This is also a great pack to use defensives on, as it can overwhelm you very easily, or if you have stuns or hard CC, all of these abilities are interruptible. I struggled a lot with the Mage Quarter my first few times in here, and I will say for the Mage Quarter, but also for your Horrific Visions as a whole, the thing that has really helped me the most is my cooldown management. Having a route planned ahead of time and knowing which packs are troublesome has helped me tremendously. At the start of my old runs, I used to turn left, which would lead me into this mixing bowl area first. But the problem I ran into with this route was that I was having to pull a handful of those patrolling corruptions with the mini-boss and then would end up dying. So as I mentioned before, I really like to turn right at the start of the Mage Quarter and do a big pull just outside that first rift. This enables you to clear out a handful of those pats and saves the much needed 200 plus sanity from the mini-boss later on in the run. After we've cleared both the rifts in here, I like to head through this house where we will find the last portal and the final mini-boss, which one thing that I forgot to mention earlier was that you do have to kill both of these mini-bosses in order to summon Magister Umbric. So there really isn't anything you can skip in this section other than some of that small side trash in those closed corridors, like the tumors and the appendages and the eye stalks. So I start to make my way to Zardeth of the Black Claw, who is the last mini-boss in the zone. He has 3 main abilities, and his first ability, Shadow Bolt, is just like a regular shadow damage attack. But his next 2, Rain of Fire and Twisted Summonings, both deal sanity damage, so we want to watch out for them. Rain of Fire is a large AoE circle that he places on your feet, so don't stand in this. You will see fire falling from the sky, and it's an annoyingly long ability. So if you see him casting this, you can kind of control where he places it by running off to the side. Twisted Summonings is where he spawns these adds, and when they die, they leave purple swirlies on the ground. So just try to kite the adds after they die so you can move out of that purple junk. All in all, I would say all the abilities from this boss are easily avoidable. So once you get the hang of it, it's really not too tough. After we've cleared all the portals, Magister Umbric will come and say some RP stuff about something. I'm not really sure. I wasn't really listening too closely. But we have to go find him because he's at the top of the mage tower back in that open area that we were in earlier. So back through the house, and then we run up this long walkway into the tower. The fight with Umbric isn't really challenging as much as I would say it's annoying. But the fight does have a good bit of unavoidable sanity damage in it. So if you do have an orb left and are headed to Illyria after this, I would recommend just go ahead and pop it right before this fight. Okay, so Magister Umbric has 3 main abilities. The first is Entropic Missiles, which deals shadow damage and drains 15 sanity per bolt. And then the second is a Polymorph ability, which my recommendation is that you save your kick for the Polymorph and pop a defensive cooldown like Cloak of Shadows for Entropic Missiles. Both of them are interruptible, but the Polymorph seems to be a little bit more dangerous. So if you don't have a cooldown, it's not the end of the world if you have to eat one of the Entropic Missiles. His last ability is Frozen Storm, which is where he teleports to the opposite end of the room and then casts these ice balls in straight lines. So in order to stop this cast, you just have to get within melee range of him and attack him. If you have a blink or a grapple hook or a sprint, you can save it for this phase as it makes it much easier. And that's all there is to the Mage Quarter. I will say it takes a bit of practice to get used to this zone, but hopefully some of these tips help you in your next run. If you have any questions for me, please make sure to drop them in the comments below, as I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe, as it helps out my channel and encourages me to make more guides in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.